Hi, everyone, and welcome to Living Hypnotically, where we explore the application and benefit of hypnosis with professional hypnotists. And today, I have a question for you. Are you exhausted? And would you like to empower and be your most super self? Because I have a guest today, a professional hypnotist, and she helps you become the boss of your brain by mastering your mindset. She helps people with their future selves, and she is doing so much amazing work. She is teaching, she is showing up and helping a lot of people. So I'd like to introduce Jennifer Ibbotson Rodriguez to the show again today. Jennifer, so happy to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Erika. It's my honor.
Tell us about the great work that you're doing right now with your clients. I'm super excited. I know you have a case study to share with a lot of really important points. And we talk about here about hypnosis and the power of hypnosis, but also becoming a hypnotist. And you just have a lot of really good points to share. So I'm just going to
Thank
kick it over to you.
you.
Go ahead and tell us this great story.
This wonderful human being, she's 52, and she had been following me for a few years actually on social media.
Mm.
And she messaged me one day saying, "You're talking to me, aren't you?" And I said, "Only if you want me to be." This is a personal choice. Are you being spoken to? Anyway, so we got on the phone and we started talking, and she explained that though she was sober, though she had balanced her weight, though she had a very happy marriage, she didn't enjoy her life. She didn't enjoy who she had turned into. And honestly, it broke my heart instantly because I understand that. I understand how we can get to that point of just not being happy, right? No matter if everything looks like it should look.
Yeah, and sometimes we follow a plan that someone else has given us, like finishing college and getting married and starting the career and following a certain path that we've been told is going to bring us happiness. And you get there and you're like, where is the
Where's
happiness?
the
Where is the peace?
happiness?
Where's the
Yeah.
joy I was promised that came with this picket fence, right?
Yes. So we started with her sleep. She had described how she woke up every morning, and the first 30 minutes were almost panic stricken of, what today? Like, just what today? And so we dealt with her sleep first, and within the first couple sessions, she was already sleeping better, sleeping soundly and waking refreshed, as I like to say.
Sleeping soundly and waking refreshed. And that makes such a big difference right there, right?
Right there. Just
I
getting
mean,
in the habit of sleeping soundly and waking refreshed changes so much.
I found that the majority of my clients, I am often also working on sleep. Like I do have clients that come to me for sleep specifically, Eric, I'm not sleeping or that type of thing, the monkey mind. But there are two things that doesn't matter what the presenting issue is, we're always going to address sleep and stress because they're just, if you don't address the sleep, our client might be getting results, but if they're not addressing the sleep, there's always going to be some limit to how much they will be able to go.
Sleep affects every aspect, but even just with where you were talking about, just the memory of healing cannot
Mhm.
get filed away properly if we don't get our rightful rest.
Right.
So understanding what type of tired we are is also essential, right? We can be physically tired, we can be mentally tired, or we can be spiritually tired. And with the caregivers, who I focus a lot on caring for caregivers,
Mhm.
and when we're looking at what makes them tired, I use your statement so often that
Mhm.
an ice cream cone doesn't fix a flat tire, just
Right.
like a nap doesn't fix all sleepiness. If you wake up from a nap and you still feel exhausted, then we need to look at your emotional and your spiritual restoration as well. As this wonderful woman and I were working together, after she was sleeping better,
Mhm.
we were really looking at how she was recognizing the support in her life. It turns out that she had lost her father in June, and we had started working together around the holidays.
Okay.
And she was outside of the immediate grief, but what had come out of this was she had lost her connection to who she thought had provided her unconditional love. Think about that. If you lose connection to unconditional love, you lose almost all love.
Did
So
she realize this at the time?
no,
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 she
it
just
was
felt it.
actually an insight that came during one of our sessions. And so we really reconnected her to what unconditional love meant to her. And in connecting her to this, she reconnected with her father in an amazing way. And he brought all of her ancestors and angels alongside. And Erika, I know you understand this, that when we see miracles every single day, when she was explaining this experience to me in a moment before our next session, she was explaining what had happened. She had this little disco ball Christmas tree behind her that had been there in every single session and had never even really noticed it, right? It was just this little pyramid disco ball thing, and we had met at the same time every week. But this time, as she explained her father's presence, as she explained the angels that she felt with her, this disco ball lit up behind her shoulder in such a blinding way that it blinded the computer. There was nothing but this white light on her shoulder.
It impacted the electronics in the session. Good
And
job.
I made the mistake of saying, "Do you see this?" And it slowly diminished, right? It was there, she saw it, it was big, and so it was real tangible for her. And as we continued our work through that day, the next session, it came, and I didn't know this until this session when we were talking about, it was going to be our last session actually, and she said, "I'm so grateful that the universe works out this way, Jen." She said, "I knew that when we first started working together, this last session was going to be today, and I didn't tell you what today is." I was like, "No, it's Thursday." And she said, "It's the 1 year anniversary of the day that I knew how bad things were with my dad." Her father had a dementia very badly through Alzheimer's, and her stepmother was the one that was really the caregiver up until this point. And they hadn't been honest, because that's unfortunately what happens in caregiver relationships. Very often there's a protective bubble put around the person that is being cared for. I'm sorry, this is a powerful story. This woman is telling me the story of how her father abused her stepmother, the woman that was caring for her dad. And it was very upsetting to my client, right? Who had 52, her connection to unconditional love, her hero, the man who had been everything to her, taught her everything about herself, really, had beaten to a pummel his only true love in the state of mind that he was in. And this had really affected my client.
I bet.
And she had never brought it up. You know how sometimes some clients, they're just not going to share everything. This isn't truth serum. This isn't mind control. We're not going in and picking out secrets, right? So it wasn't until the last session that this came out. And I said, "Do you want to know what you need to know from it?" And she said, "I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready." And so that day in hypnosis, my client allowed herself to set aside who she was and call in her father's wisdom to speak through her and to say what he needed to say from that day. To, with his clear mind, not his Alzheimer's brain, explain what had happened and to share his side of the story, if you will, which was 100%, "This is not me. I am sorry. I don't know how to live anymore. I need help, and I don't know how to ask for it. And I'm scared. This isn't me. Don't see this as me." It changed everything. She and I actually spoke the other day because in preparation, I was like going through my client's stories, and I was wondering if I could share yours. It's had a profound effect on me. She was like, "Anything that you have changed everything for me." She shared how her relationship with herself again has everything that she always thought she had from the beginning. Even though she had understood the unconditional love side of it, it had been slightly tarnished in that one moment that she hadn't had clarity, because she could never have a clear conversation with her father after that event. But as the subconscious has the capacity to connect us to all sorts of amazing things. And so that was this client's clarity.
And we're working in the feeling space with our clients. And so when you're in and you're working with her, you can notice that things are shifting in her, right?
I do everything online. And some people have said, oh, but I need to be in the room to be able to feel their energy. I don't think that's true. I think we can feel energy when we tap into energy.
You can do it.
And so
there's definitely a preference. Some people
some people, for sure. I don't mean to be disrespectful to those that get that blessing, right? My scenario is, as a caregiver, I am a home-based employee.
Yep.
And so being a home-based business owner is a huge blessing.
Yeah.
Because I can care for my husband and his needs and our household's needs.
Yep.
While caring for my clients and my business's needs.
And that's a really nice aspect of being a hypnotist. You get to set your own schedule. Yeah. Right? And you get to create your own program. So let's talk about that. You have a really cool future focused program, right?
Our profession is historically focused in the past because it's amazingly rich area to heal. Quantum physics is proving that the past is simply easier to remember than the future. If we practice the future as often as we practice the past, it would be as simple as the past to connect with. The clients I work with technically have such a connection with their future selves that the wiser and the more knowing version of who they truly evolve into becoming someday. Now, sometimes this is 2 hours from the client that I'm speaking to. Sometimes
2 hours in the future.
2 years in the future. Sometimes it's 20 lifetimes, right? It's not my business to determine. But the connections that clients make with future is actually as strong as the past. And what quantum physics is proving is that the more we focus on what we focus on, the more real it becomes. There are some people, not everybody, some clients have gone through too much focusing on the past. Some clients already know everything they need to know from the past. And really, some clients where their truest sense of healing happens is with their future self, is with the potential power of connecting daily, living hypnotically in the moment with who they're choosing to become, rather than focusing on what's already past.
We're empowering our clients to go out in the world, follow through on things that they want to be doing, that are hard for them to do. They feel out of control. So a lot of people might think they're coming to us for their past. We all want to live freely now, right? And in our future now. But you're absolutely right. And they get hung up and they want to hang on to their problem, right? So we absolutely have clients where rooting around in the past and continuing to look for more problems to solve. This is the reason why I am this way. Gives them some level of validation, but they don't really want to go into the future. But if you're not doing something with the future with your clients, there's a problem, because that's what they're coming to us for. They're right. Give us an example.
Okay, I'm going through a very difficult time right now. And if I were to only focus on what has gotten me here and how to fix my beliefs about why I feel responsible for things that I'm technically not responsible for, it would take longer.
So instead, what do you do?
Instead, by connecting with the reality of, I do get through this, my highest and wisest self knows the answer that I need to know today, has so much grace for the mistakes that I make, has so much love and nurture for the choices that I make for tomorrow. They aren't based on, if you could have done it differently. It's much more of, when we are in this now, doing it differently, creating what happens tomorrow. Because the past only gets us to today. Today has to get us to tomorrow.
That's awesome. Anything that we can do to empower our clients, because anti-anxiety, just take a tool like anti-anxiety, right? So anti-anxiety, we could clearly say that it's based on a past experience, okay? Because we are anxious based on some learned experience. If something's happening right in front of us, if we hadn't have experienced it before, we might not even know that we need to be anxious about it. And so the problem becomes if our clients get hung up on that, rather than recognizing doing an anti-anxiety technique helps them to become more present so that they can simply be present in the now and experience their life, right? The techniques we've been using in hypnosis are designed to get rid of the past from interrupting our thinking, because that's a lot of times what the anxiety is like the past coming to try and interrupt us. And so,
And it's trying to convince
right?
us that the future is always going to be what the past was.
Right.
That's really where the problem is that we think the past is going to keep going into the future. And it isn't. And as soon as we say stop, it stops. May I share an anti-anxiety with you that is
Yeah, go
future
for it.
focused that I do with
Sure.
my clients?
Yeah, please. I'd love to hear this technique.
Okay. And I know you're going to love it because it's 100% neuroscience based.
I feel better.
Take your right hand,
Yeah.
go with the flow. Put it
Mhm.
where you believe your heart space is. There's no anatomy test here. Nobody's going to come and judge you, but put a little bit of pressure, like you're having a hug, right?
Mhm.
This alone creates oxytocin within our brain. Oxytocin is the love hormone that most of us need more of, even in wonderful relationships surrounded by pets. Oxytocin is a good thing for us.
Right.
So just this does that. But
That's
the
it.
magic of the thumbs creates the butterfly hug.
Okay.
Now, the butterfly hug creates bilateral stimulation, and now you are fluttering oxytocin through both hemispheres of your brain. And oh my goodness, isn't it fun to love? Go walk in front of a mirror and do your future self conversations with
Like,
your oxytocin bonding hug, and you suddenly have a deeper bond with your future self. So
nice.
mirror work, I saying, I love you, I'm proud of you, thank you for everything you do for me.
Goes a long way.
It goes a long way because you're saying it to yourself and you're seeing it in your eyes and you're building that bonding response with yourself. So it's really powerful. I have a lot of clients that do that for
Thank
themselves in the
you.
mirror
It's really
work.
sweet.
Yeah.
We need this more and more. I can't tell you how many clients, like just the other day, I was talking with a client and she was mentioning how stressed she was. She had something serious happen at work that was unusual. And she was just really, she came home from work and she was really having a freak out. And I asked her about her cat because she had mentioned her cat in the past. And she's, oh my gosh, I forgot how useful it is. She used to come home and just basically, anytime you're having a little bit of a nervous kind of freak out, right? She would take the kitty and just put her on her chest. What do you think's going to happen when your cat comes and you're having you're a little nervous? Her cat would come sit on her chest. And within 1 or 2 minutes, she's right back in a super enjoyable rhythm and having that touch. And I love how you were talking to the self with those very loving words, right? Because when our clients believe them, they sink in really deep and they start to believe them more and more and more and more and more. Pretty soon it's conviction.
The more we practice, the better we get.
Yeah.
It goes back to sleep. We practice sleep every single night. If we're not good at it yet, maybe a coach is helpful.
Not really taught healthy sleep
I know.
hygiene at all. And we live in a super stressful world. We are not given opportunities nor grace when we should, meaning we should all have a bio break. We should have a break at lunchtime, not just to eat,
Yes.
but we should be in nature. We should be meditating, right? So there's a lot of things that we ideally can insert in our day to sleep better at the end of the day. What would you like any of your clients out there listening right now? What do you want them to know about hypnosis, about maybe something that they're struggling with? And they've tried everything. They've tried everything else, but now they're listening to this and they're intrigued about the future and they're intrigued about this other different way of looking at things. What would you want to say to them?
Plain and simple. Your future is more important than your past. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how great or how horrible your life was before today. Every day forward matters more. So that
Awesome.
you can be here today.
So it doesn't matter what's
I
happening
didn't
in your
plan that out.
past.
I just always say your future is more important than your past.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Now, how can people connect with you?
Well, if you're not on LinkedIn, then I think Jen at hypnosishaven.com is the easiest way.
Okay.
And I will send you a sleep resource guide if you simply email me the subject line sleep,
Okay.
or I'm sleepy.
I'm sleepy.
I'm
okay. And how do they
sleepy.
email you? How do they email you?
Jen at hypnosishaven.com.
Jen at Hypnosis Haven. What a cool name. Cool
Thank
business
you.
name. Hypnosishaven.com. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. And you're going to be at NGH this year, I heard?
I am. And
Yeah.
Hypno Thoughts Live.
Awesome. And you were at a convention earlier this year.
I was.
think?
Dave Ellman's Legacy
Yeah.
Convention. It's been a
Good
fun
job.
year so far.
Thank you, Jen. Thanks for all of your work that you're doing helping caregivers, because it is such a huge issue. Our caregivers in the world are overworked. They're underappreciated. There's just so much service that we can provide in this area, because hypnosis really can help people recover faster. It can help them get rid of, like you're saying, anything in the past that has been challenging for them. And it really just helps people lead better lives. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and thank you. I appreciate it being here.
Awesome. Thanks everyone for listening. I'm Erika Flint, professional hypnotherapy instructor, board certified hypnotist, lover of humans. I love helping people learn hypnosis. We have our next certification training course is April 21st through 27. We have a new guide. It's the ultimate guide to becoming a professional hypnotist in 2024. You can grab a copy of it at cascadehypnosistraining.com/guide. And we have a really cool business assessment in this guide too, because a lot of our incoming students want to know, how am I going to make money as a professional hypnotist? Let me tell you, there's a lot of opportunities. And Jen is such a great example, because she's graduated, she's creating her own program, she's out there talking about hypnosis, telling people the good news. So Jen, again, thank you so very much. Come visit us at cascadehypnosistraining.com/guide. Get our new guide, and I look forward to seeing you in the hypnosis classroom soon. Bye for now.